Okay, so I wanted to address something really quick. There's a video going around right now saying that me and my friends invaded this girl's house. She's saying that we broke in, that we were using our clout to enter in a house that we don't live in, and etc. So I'm just going to explain the full story. A lot of things were left out and a lot of things were misconstrued, so I just want to make some things clear. First of all, she posted this video that is gaining traction explaining her side of the story. In this video, you can see her walking around barefoot in her house, but she makes it out to be like that's us and that we broke into her house and that we were walking around. That never once happened. We never went inside the house. We never touched the house. We never knocked on any windows. We didn't even touch the door. We didn't even knock on the door. They were already down there whenever we had approached. Another thing is we didn't use our clout to enter a house. We told them who we were and what we did because they told us that the only reason they were hesitant about us coming in is because there were important people there who do social media. When we heard that, we were like, oh, we do social media too. Like, we used to live here. Like, here's the proof. We showed them that we lived in the house, the videos that we would make in the house. That was the only reason that our handles or who we were got brought into it. Also, too, we would have never brought that up if we were trying to invade her house or break into her house or cause any problems. Logically thinking, why would we tell her exactly who we are if we were trying to do some fuck shit towards her or anyone in the house or towards the house? Again, we only told them who we were for credibility, not for clout purposes, not to try to prove a point, none of that. We just wanted to show them that we weren't random people and we weren't pretending that we lived in the house, that we actually did live there. We were credible. Now I'm going to tell y'all what happened beginning to end. So Smitty and I had just got done hanging out with two of our friends. One of the people that we were with, it was their last night being in LA, so we wanted to show them a viewpoint. We originally drove to Rhegan Canyon, which is a hiking trail, but on your way up there, sometimes you can stop and you can look at the view. It shows all of Hollywood. We thought it would be a good spot, but we ended up driving there and not finding a place to stop, so we couldn't look at the view from there. I had the idea of if we drove to Go House, because we used to live there, we know how the view is, why don't we drive them to Go House and we can look at the view. We never had any intention or any plan of asking them if we could go up. When we got in there, we realized the view wasn't as good as we thought it was. Usually during the day, there's a gate whenever you're driving up there and you can go up and you're not anywhere by the house, but there's a hiking trail. We had to park right outside that gate to look at the view. So technically we were in front of Go House. We walked down the neighborhood for a little bit. We were showing them different viewpoints from different angles. And then we had came back up to our cars. Because of the gate being closed, we were technically in front of the Go House. But we're still parked on the street. Now that we're back up to our cars, we're sitting on a railing, there's a view behind us, and we're talking to them about what our experience was like in Go House. The house itself is pretty see-through. There's a lot of glass, so you can see a lot through it. We're a really good distance away from it. And we're pointing, we're like, oh, like that used to be my room, like that's the kitchen, that's the gym, etc. Just telling them about Go House. Then I'm talking to them about my room, because I had the master bedroom for quite a bit. I was telling them how good my view was and how the room above it too, which is the living room and the balcony of the living room, is really good as well. So we kind of just throw it out there like, what if we asked? We knew it was a shot in the dark, but we're like, we might as well try and ask them, just explain to them what's going on and that we're credible people, like we're not trying to do anything and just be cool to show our friends. So then we approached the door. There were people already walking out, and so whenever we had approached the door, there was someone already there. The guy that was standing at the door opens the door once he sees that we're out there. He just kind of looks at us and he's like, and we go into explaining what we wanted to do, which was show our friends the view. We said, like, we used to live here. We know, because we used to live here, that a lot of people would pretend that they lived in the house and that they, like, just to get into parties and stuff that we used to throw. So in order to prove that we were credible, we showed them videos of us in the house. We stated that we were the previous people that lived in there. We even stated that we mean no harm. We don't have any bad intent. It's purely just to show our friends the view. We were on an understanding. The person that we told that understood that. So he tells us, I actually don't live here, but let me go get someone who does live here. That sounds like it'll be cool. But he just wanted to make sure. So he shuts the door, locks the door, and then goes up. We're standing outside the door. We're still waiting. Then two guys come down. And so now we're talking to two guys. They open the door, and then we begin telling them the same story that we told the guy. We wanted to show our friends the view. We explained that we wanted to show our friends the view, that we used to live there. Obviously, we no longer live there, but it still would be cool to show them if we could, by any chance. We're just going off a limb. That's whenever one of the guys, he had brown curly hair. He tells us, like, the only thing is that we're really drunk and there are some important people here who do social media. That is whenever we show them our TikTok profiles. We explained to them that that was the whole reason that we had even lived at the house, is because we did the same thing. We were never trying to use our clout to get in. It was more of like a, oh, us too moment. In fact, on top of that, they were even the ones to say that they were important people, etc. Then those guys shut the door, and then that's whenever the girl comes outside on it's like the game room of the Go House, or the house that it is now. She comes out on the patio and she starts yelling at us. Obviously, we were caught off guard because we were just having a civil, normal conversation with two people that were in front of us at the door. Those two guys also said that they didn't live there and that they needed to talk to someone, but it probably would be cool. They just needed to make sure they asked before they let us in. So then a girl comes outside, she's wearing a dress, she's barefoot, and she starts yelling slurs at my friends. She says, like, y'all need to get the fuck out of here, y'all are cunts, etc. We were caught off guard because we were just having a normal conversation. We had thought that we were in an understanding. We had thought that we were good. We thought we had made it clear what we were doing, why we were doing it, etc. One of the people we were with was a guy. Once she had started yelling slurs at us, then he went in front of the garage doors so that he could look at her eye to eye, because it was parallel to the balcony that she was standing on. Once he was in front of her, I'm not gonna lie, I was really upset because I thought that we were in an understanding. I didn't think that there were any problems. So I was yelling things up to her, like, why are you saying this? We were just having a normal conversation. We said we meant no harm. Because from my understanding, we were good. Everything was good. And not even that, they probably were gonna let us look at the view. She continues yelling slurs, and then she spits on one of my friends, or towards one of my friends. I don't know if it actually hit them. That's kind of where all shit kind of broke loose, which again, I had no part in. I was just there, as was Smitty. The guy grabs a rock and throws it up there. Again, I just want to make it clear that I did not do that. Smitty did not do that, and we had no part in that. She spits again, and then she grabs a vase and throws it down towards Smitty's car. Whenever the vase hit the ground, obviously it like shattered towards us and towards the cars. And at that point, I was pretty spooked because it all happened within a matter of like 10 seconds. Then that's whenever I started saying, like, come on guys, let's just go. They were very obviously really drunk and didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really know what was going on at that point. As we're getting in the car, we're saying things like, there was no reason for you to act like that, like, this is stupid, etc. We get in the car. Here's another part she left out. She runs downstairs as we're leaving, we're backing out. Smitty and I, who didn't do anything. She runs down, she runs out of the house, and she's running towards our car as we're backing up. She ran down the street. She's yelling, I'm gonna beat her ass, etc., etc. I had nothing to do with this shit. I genuinely did nothing. If anything, once something was thrown up and something was thrown down and slurs were being said, we were just trying to de-escalate the situation. She runs towards our car, we back up like pretty good distance. We're like way past the house at that point, but she's still walking towards the car. Smitty then gets out to talk to her. What she said to Smitty was, I have no problem towards you and the girl in the car. I'm not trying to do anything, even though she had just said that she was about to beat my ass and was running towards our car. After that, Smitty's just like, okay, well then we're gonna get back in the car and we're gonna go. So then we leave. Now we are after the fact, 2 days after the situation occurred. So this girl does Twitch, she's big on Twitch. I didn't find this out until recently, but I guess she had gone live on Twitch the day before talking about how she's really sick. With how big the new COVID variant's getting right now, and how bad, after finding that out, I was just kind of like, oh my god. Because she had spit before anything had happened, while we were having an understanding conversation. One at which I thought that we were in the same understanding, but clearly not. Another thing that I want to point out, she posted videos name dropping Smitty and I. I'll apologize personally for the rock being thrown. Although I had nothing to do with it and it wasn't me, I'm not going to sit here and justify that. Regardless of what was said towards us, regardless of what was done towards us, I won't sit here and justify that. I want to make that a point as well. Another point I would like to make is I would never tell anybody who I am, what I do, show them my at, if I was planning any harm towards them. And I do think that's more of common sense. Why would I tell you who I am if I'm trying to do some fuck shit towards you? Another point that I'd like to make, my friends Ace and Jordan, who previously lived in the Go House. Jordan didn't live in the Go House, he was a videographer for us. He did stay a few nights every now and then. But Ace was a fellow member of the house and the game show thing that we were on. They had nothing to do with it. They weren't even there. It was really frustrating to see this morning that they were name dropped. And personally, it rose some questions for me, but it did hurt to see him getting these comments talking about invading a house, both of them, when they weren't even there. And it had nothing to do with them. Another point that I want to make, she said that we got into the house, that we were breaking the house, that we were banging on windows. I just want to make it clear, none of that happened. I also want to make it clear that Smitty and I were not aggressors in this situation. I would even say the opposite because she kept talking about beating my ass. She ran towards our car when we were leaving. I didn't get the impression that she in any way felt unsafe. It felt more like she was drunk and in the heat of the moment type of deal. Personally, I mean, that's just from someone who was there. One of the friends that was with us was recording whenever she was saying some slurs towards us. She yells out, "Go follow me on Twitch," and then says her @ It was just very unnecessary, and at no point should that have escalated to that point. I did wake up pretty confused to seeing all these comments. She knew that we didn't throw anything, that we were the ones holding the conversation with the people at the door, that she was running towards our car when we were trying to leave, and that she had had a conversation with Smitty saying that she had no problem with us. So whenever I had seen her make her video and name drop both Smitty and I, and to wrongly accuse Jordan and Ace of being the people that were in the situation, again, I was just pretty caught off guard because she had told us that she known that we didn't have anything to do with that. There was never a home invasion. I had no part in anything being thrown. Neither did Smitty. And we weren't banging on windows and doors to have them let us in. We did nicely ask.